You want to know something about someone else who likes to test boundaries? And actually, this is something that I wanted to make sure I talked about. My good old friend, Marina Abramovic. Yes, she is my good old friend, despite the fact that I've only met her once, along with one of the members of Pussy Riot. So, yeah, I'm in with the in crowd, you see. First Mick Jagger, now Marina Abramovic, yeah. So Marina Abramovic is part of the most bizarre and talked about conspiracy theories right now. And another thing that makes me think that perhaps people have too little to do right now because... Earlier this month, the famed performance artist, who is really one of the huge names in the modern art world, shared a video or a film about an exhibition of hers. And she did it via Microsoft's YouTube account. And it was a video that showed museum goers wearing special headsets. And it revolves around The Life, which is an exhibition of hers that is being billed as the world's first mixed reality performance artwork or exhibition, which is debatable, but if Microsoft says it, it must be true, right? Also, what in the world does mixed reality mean? Are we supposed to just let that term slip past us and accept it just like that? Anyways, those are all philosophical questions that are neither here nor there. Well, long story short, the video was taken down by Microsoft because it sparked accusations from one of the corners of the internet that took it as some type of evidence for Satanism or something. Take that in for a minute, yeah? With all that Abramovich has done, some things that, have shocked me too, on an ethical level as well. Like one of the things that she is known for is pushing the limits of the art practice by exposing her own body to pain, for example. Like there was a very famous thing she did in 1974 in Naples, Italy, where she left 72 objects on a table with a clear statement that she would stand motionless for 6 hours while the public could use these objects on her as they desired. And these objects included scalpels of various kinds, nails, a metal bar, and, get this, a gun loaded with one bullet. Yeah. And then there are several videos on YouTube about her that document her performances, And there's lots of things that she's done over the years, including one of the ones that gets to me is the time that she just screamed at the top of her lungs for hours on end until her voice ran out, which for some reason makes me, cringe a little bit. And she also had that installation from the 90s where she wrote phrases like fresh morning urine sprinkle over nightmare dreams, or with a sharp knife cut deeply into the middle finger of your left hand and eat the pain. And these phrases were written in pig's blood. That's more Satanist than whatever that Microsoft video. I mean, holy smokes. Of course, pretty much everything that she has ever done, let's say, has been greeted with some form of criticism, particularly from right-wing media. No surprises there, but what is so shocking about this Microsoft video being taken down is that it was essentially PR fluff about how the virtual world and technological advancements are being used by artists in the 21st century. And this was the thing that made the internet go crazy, to the point where, possibly for the first time, Marina Abramovic has had to come out and say outright, I am an artist, not a Satanist. Because that's right, these people accused her of being a Satanist. And Abramovic is actually currently fearing for her personal safety. And she is regularly receiving death threats by email, as have the organizers of some of her exhibitions. And guess who has played a huge role in starting this whole thing? The founder of InfoWars, Alex Jones, who's still around. I mean, I don't mind Alex Jones. In fact, I actually find him so ludicrous that he's just entertaining. But then you realize that he can also be dangerous, because there are people out there who actually take all the things he says seriously when it's clearly nothing to be taken seriously. And this whole controversy that got started not only prompted Microsoft to take this piece of nothing down, but has actually made one of the most fearless individuals in the art world, who once risked being shot to death by handgun for the sake of art, fear for her life. And as I was reading this, I was thinking about how history repeats itself, in the sense that my mind went back to the witch hunts of the past, the witch purges, where women were labelled witches. And the search of evidence of which was pretty insane. And it led to moral panic and mass hysteria and killings. And by the way, witch hunts are still happening to this day in places like Saudi Arabia and Cameroon. But in a more subtle way, they happen everywhere, including the developed Western world, or at least the Western world which we like to pretend is developed. And then, stuff like this happens and makes you understand that actually we're just as crazy as everybody else. Well, the point is that Marina Abramovic has been accused of being a Satanist for years, and she has on occasion reveled on the publicity that her controversy has spurred. But essentially, the reason why all these people, mostly men, are attacking Marina Abramovic is because she embodies a very physical type of female empowerment that is very frightening within the very male-driven society that we live in. So it's not really about Satanism at all. It's actually about hatred for women. That's how I read it anyway. It's about hatred for women who do not embody the traditional concept of femininity. They don't embody the traditional concept of the woman as the angel in the house, for example. And it's clearly a toxic mentality. And again, I'm forced to say on an episode of The Art Movement, I cannot believe that we still have to deal with this shit in 2020.